right, everybody, get ready. Because today, we are taking a deep dive into Taiwanese talk shows.
Ooh, fun.
Specifically, Kangxi Lai Lei. You know, that show that's basically required viewing if you're learning Mandarin.
Right. It's iconic.
It's more than just entertainment, though, don't you think?
Totally. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like a crash course in Taiwanese culture, humor, how people interact, everything.
Exactly. And we've got excerpts here from 3 YouTube interviews with the one and only Kevin Tsai, the show's host. And let me tell you, his perspective is really something.
Oh, he's brilliant. His way of hosting was unlike anything else on TV at the time.
Yeah, let's talk about that. The show was a phenomenon, right? Ran for over a decade, huge cultural impact. What do you think it was about Kangxi Lai Lei that clicked with audiences for so long?
Well, you got to remember what the Taiwanese talk show scene was like back then. A lot of shows, they stuck to the same formula: celebrity gossip, super scripted banter. You know the drill.
Yeah.
Kangxi Lai Lei, they weren't afraid to mix things up.
I like where this is going.
They talk about anything, current events, social issues even. And they did it with this sharp wit, this humor. They pushed boundaries, especially when you consider Tsai's personal life.
Right. He came out on the show, and even though he didn't explicitly say it, the way he handled it was so powerful, especially for that time. It was a different era in Taiwan. So for him to even subtly address his sexuality on a mainstream platform like that, huge deal.
It really was. It challenged societal norms,
Mhm.
got people talking about LGBTQ plus issues in a way we hadn't really seen on Taiwanese TV before. But more than that, I think it shows Tsai's whole approach to hosting. He wants genuine conversations, and he's not afraid to make people a little uncomfortable to get there.
He's said before that he wants to have those truly meaningful conversations, even if it means going off script, which he did a lot. I read somewhere that he wanted to ask a politician about their internet browsing habits. Like, did they watch adult content? And he was serious.
Oh, that's classic Tsai.
Hilarious, but also kind of genius, you know?
Totally. And, it all comes back to his philosophy on life. He calls it attaining fulfillment over chasing success. Instead of going for those superficial wins, he's looking for those authentic moments, those unscripted exchanges where you get a real glimpse into someone.
Which, for our listeners out there, is something to think about in your own lives. What are those moments where you feel most fulfilled? Is it hitting some big career milestone, or is it connecting with someone on a deeper level? It's about what truly resonates with you personally.
100%. And sometimes those moments, they come from the most unexpected places.
Like his Happy Three Kingdoms audio series. For those who don't know, it's a hilarious take on the classic Chinese historical epic, Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and it became a huge hit. Even parents were using it to teach their kids about history.
It was a total surprise hit. I think people loved it because it took these historical figures we thought we knew and turned them into these relatable, funny characters.
He's told some hilarious stories about it, like Cow's reaction to getting Guan Yu's severed head delivered to him. He's like, "My love, you finally returned to me." That mix of history, humor, and just pure absurdity, it's what makes it so good.
It really showcases his range, how he connects with people in these unexpected ways.
For sure. And it also highlights something else that's key to understanding him. His ability to find humor in unexpected places, even when he's talking about something as, well, let's say, potentially sensitive as online negativity.
Oh, yeah. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I'm curious too, because he's no stranger to the world of internet fame and, well, criticism comes with the territory.
Right. He had this interesting point about traditional celebrities versus, internet personalities.
Okay.
He said traditional celebs, they cultivate this aura, this illusion, right? It's part of their mystique.
Right.
But internet personalities, they thrive on being relatable. Like, you could be friends with them.
So they seem more accessible, more like us.
Totally. But he was saying that leads to a shorter shelf life.
Oh, interesting.
Because that kind of intimacy, it's hard to maintain. Both the personality changes, the audience changes. It's almost like he's saying there's a natural life cycle to internet fame, and trying to hold on too tight, it's just not going to work.
That's pretty insightful. It makes you think about the pace of internet culture, how it affects everything, even relationships. It's constant change.
It really is. And, that awareness of how fleeting fame can be, it might be why his idea for a dream show is so different.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
He wants to give people money to do good. Like, imagine a reality show with a conscience.
Okay, now that's a concept I can get behind, like a feel-good social experiment.
Exactly.
But it can't be that easy, right? Just hand out cash and boom, world's fixed.
He knows it's not that simple.
Yeah.
He actually joked about how those contestants, even with the best of intentions, they'd run into problems, get roasted online, which let's be real.
Oh, it's coming.
It's inevitable these days.
Yeah, it's true.
But it is a good point, real change. That takes time, dedication, humility. It's not about getting likes or praise. It's about recognizing those issues are complicated. You got to approach them with some nuance.
Which takes us back to his whole thing about achievement versus success. He's not saying be complacent, but more like find fulfillment in those smaller wins, those moments of real connection, personal growth. They might not be glamorous, but they matter.
Absolutely. It's about shifting your focus. Instead of always chasing some huge, impossible goal, recognize those little achievements you're making every day.
Like that story he told about getting a flower from a little kid while he was waiting for a friend. So simple, but so powerful.
Exactly. Being present, open to those little joys, find the beauty in the everyday.
Which I think is something he brings to his work. He said even with a show as massive as Kangxi Lai Le, a successful interview for him wasn't about the ratings. It was about whether he felt like he asked the questions that mattered, the ones he was truly curious about.
He was such a curious person. He talked about how he would pace in circles before interviews, trying to figure out that one key question, that thread to pull on. And sometimes that meant pushing back against producers, even dropping other interesting topics, just to make sure he got to the heart of what he wanted to know.
That's fascinating. It shows how much he was willing to go against the grain, do things his own way, kind of like how he still writes all of his books by hand. I mean, that's got to be so time-consuming.
It's about the process for him. He gets this feeling, he calls it burning from handwriting, this real tangible connection to his work
Yeah.
that typing just doesn't give him.
That's so cool, burning his thoughts onto the page. It's about being fully present in the creation.
And you feel that in his interviews. He'd always rather have that lively, unscripted conversation, even if it got a little messy, than stick to some rigid format. That's what makes it so compelling to watch.
Yeah, that unpredictability, you never know what's going to happen next, but it takes trust, right? In himself, in his guests, to handle those unexpected moments.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that's what makes his work so refreshing. He leans into the unknown. Those uncomfortable conversations, the controversial topics, he doesn't shy away. He approaches them with a sense of curiosity, respect, which is rare, man, especially in entertainment.
He's a master at it. And speaking of navigating tricky situations, he had some great advice on dealing with criticism, especially from family, something I think a lot of people can relate to.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So someone asked him about feeling held back by family, like they didn't support their dreams, and his response was surprisingly blunt.
What do you say?
He basically said, look, it hurts when your family doesn't get you, but their opinion, it doesn't define you. It's your life.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Yeah.
Family's complicated.
Oh, tell me about it.
But I think his point was separate your goals, your aspirations from your relationship with them. He even suggested that sometimes, like practically speaking, figuring out your own finances, being independent, it can help ease the tension.
Yeah, it's like if you're not relying on them for money, it gives you more freedom to pursue your own thing without needing their approval. It's powerful.
Totally. It's about taking back that control, recognizing that you have the power to build the life you want, even if it means going against what's expected of you.
Which I think goes back to that core message we keep seeing with Tsai, this focus on self-discovery, finding your own path, and yeah, those moments of true connection, fulfillment. It's not always easy, though, is it? He's talked about struggling with self-doubt himself, right? Like we all do. Did he have any advice for dealing with that? Those voices in your head telling you you're not good enough.
Well, he's pretty honest about it. Says self-doubt, it's something most of us deal with, and he doesn't pretend to have all the answers. But he's big on self-awareness.
Yeah.
Like, step one is just recognizing when those negative thoughts are taking over.
Okay, so you're aware of them, then what?
He's all about finding what brings you joy and going for it, no matter what anyone else says.
Yeah.
It's about you and those passions, not about seeking approval from other people.
So it's not about ignoring those negative thoughts completely. It's more like reframing them. They're part of the process, not a dead end.
Exactly. He's all about approaching life with a sense of curiosity, playfulness even. Don't take yourself too seriously, Embrace the imperfections. Enjoy the ride.
I like that. It made me think about something else. He talked about how this always online world we live in, it might be affecting our relationships.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he sees a connection between how fast internet fame fades and how quickly friendships can form and disappear these days.
It's true. Online, everything moves so fast.
And he's worried that's changing how younger generations see relationships. Like, it's harder to commit to something real, something that lasts.
Makes you think, right?
Yeah.
I know I've felt that pull. Things moving so fast online. It makes these real connections, the offline ones, even more precious.
Totally. And it goes back to what we were talking about with Tsai's philosophy, nurturing talent, fostering community. He really believes we need to support artists, creators.
Give them a space where they can actually create without all that online pressure.
And he used that really sad example, the Korean actor who took his own life. And Tsai's point was that loss, it's not just about one person.
It's a loss for everyone who connected with his work, who put their time and energy into supporting him.
Wow. Yeah, that really makes you think about the cost of celebrity culture.
And it makes you appreciate Tsai even more. He's open about his vulnerabilities, his own struggles, and he wants other people to feel like they can do the same. He's all about embracing those imperfections, finding joy in the process, and ultimately living a more fulfilling life because of it.
It's such a powerful message, no matter who you are, what you do. Real fulfillment, it doesn't come from likes or awards. It comes from those moments of connection, those personal victories, those moments where you grow.
It's the small stuff. Those everyday joys, those little interactions, they all add up.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of Kevin Tsai, here's the takeaway. Look for those genuine connections, those little wins that make you feel good. Don't be afraid to be yourself, imperfections and all. Try new things. Enjoy the ride.
And remember what Tsai said. Never underestimate the power of a little kindness. You never know how much it might mean to someone.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for today, everyone. Go out there, be kind, be curious, and embrace whatever comes your way. You never know what you might discover.